Right, so I thought I'd do a quick zoom around Zoom. A lot of people are using it at the moment, and just to give a basic introduction into how it works. I've used it already for a number of meetings and a couple of training sessions, and I have been massively impressed with it. I do have the pro version of it, which is just under £15 a month. That allows me to have meetings with multiple people for an unlimited time. The free version means you can have unlimited time one-to-one, but as soon as you add a third person to the meeting, you have a maximum of 40 minutes. What I paid for essentially means that I can have up to 100 people in a meeting at one time, and I can exceed that 40 minutes. I can be on for 4 or 5 hours if I want to. But the basic version is perfectly good for short meetings, for groups of people, and one-to-one meetings as well. So here's a very nice clean, this is the desktop app. I would suggest downloading the desktop app rather than using the web one. It's just much cleaner. You can see we have new meeting, join, share screen, and schedule. And up here you have home, chat, meetings, and contacts. The home page is this. The chat allows you to have chat with people who are in your contacts list. These are the people that you've got in your contacts list. And meetings will show any scheduled meetings that you have coming up. So I'm using Zoom to deliver digital marketing courses, and these are the courses that I've got scheduled over the next couple of weeks. So let's just play around with some of the bits and pieces. I'm going to go to new meeting last, because we're only really going to look at new meeting and schedule as far as this is concerned. Join is when you have been invited to a meeting, but generally you'll be sent a link and you click on the link and it'll allow you to join that meeting. So I'll start with schedule. So if you wanted to schedule a meeting for someone or with a group of people, what you can put in is, I'll just put test schedule in here, so you can give it a name, which is absolutely fantastic, and then you do the date. So I might want to be scheduling a meeting for the 10th of April. I want it to last a maximum of 3 hours. There's no recurring, so I'm not going to have it recur. Or if you wanted it to be a recurring meeting every Friday at, let's say, 1600, you could click the recurring meeting in. Meeting ID, don't worry too much about this kind of stuff. And password, I would just click out that for now, particularly if it is a meeting where you don't know that the people are going to come in. Now, this bit here, you've got video and participants for host. Now, it is a video conferencing service, but if you're going to have 20 or 30 people, you don't necessarily want all of their screens on. So as a host, I would have my screen on. So immediately I will be video conferencing, and participants currently would join the meeting with their video off. Now they can by all means then switch their video back on again, and we'll show you how to do that when we get into a meeting. Or you can put participants on, which means they all have their webcams open and you'll see them straight away. As far as audio is concerned, the default setting, telephone and computer audio, is all you need. Most of it will be coming from the computer audio anyway. And you can choose which calendar to input it into. So I've got into my Google Calendar. So when I schedule that event, it will automatically populate my Google Calendar. If I go to advanced options, enable a waiting room. This is quite a nice thing. If people join earlier, they've just got a place to wait. You know that they're in the waiting room. So if you're waiting for everyone to join, you can see when they're joined and then click onto the waiting room to start the chat. You can mute participants, so when they come, they are muted, so you don't suddenly get 20 people talking simultaneously. So again, by default, they'll come out to that meeting with their microphones muted and would have to unmute their microphones to be able to comment. Or of course, you can mute participants on entry, unclick that one, and everyone can talk at the same time. And automatically record meeting. Now I'll show you the files on this in a minute, but this is really powerful actually. Your meetings are recorded, and they're recorded in a video file and a separate audio file. So that's really superb. And you can invite alternate hosts as well if you need to, just by popping an email address in. And if I hit the schedule button, as I'm going to here, it'll pop itself into my Google Calendar. I'll get rid of that for now. And if I go to my meetings, you can see I now have test schedule. And if I go to meeting invitation, this is all the information you need for people to join the chat, the video conference. Mainly, that's the bit you need to be sending to people. That link, they click on it, and they will come into the waiting room, and then you can open up the meeting and away you go. It's really powerful, really simple. So that is scheduling a meeting. Very, very simple, no problems there at all. So I'm going to come out of that. I will delete it. There we go. Delete. Yes, because I don't want that meeting cluttering up my my Zoom. If I go to a new meeting, here we go. So I will join with computer audio, which means that it's going to use the microphone on my laptop, or if I have a microphone plugged into the laptop, it'll use that one. And to invite participants, if I click, I can email people, so by Gmail, or I can just copy the URL for that meeting, and I could paste that into a chat function. I could email that directly to people. But if I do the Gmail here, it'll open up my Gmail account and you can see the default message that comes out. So I would I'll put me in there. There you go. I'll invite me to that, and I would click on this Zoom meeting link here, and that would invite me into the conversation. So if you're opening up a brand new meeting, that is how you would get people to join. So let's get rid of that. Nice and easy. And I'm now just going to show a few of the functions of the screen itself. So if I enter full screen, first and foremost, let's get me into a center here. Lovely. So you can see all these bits and pieces at the bottom here. So if I click on audio, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to talk and you're not going to hear. It's to mute audio. Now I'm not recording this via Zoom. I'm recording this via my PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to do a video on how to record screen capture during PowerPoint as well. But if you don't want to be heard, or if you have been muted, say I'm muted there, you can see the line through it. If I click unmute, I can talk. So if you've set up people to be muted as they join the meeting, they would have to go down to there and unmute themselves, or you can hold down the space bar. So if you hold the space bar down, it will unmute you whilst you are holding down the space bar. You can talk and then you can release your finger and that's it. You are now muted again. So it's a little bit simpler perhaps to do that. I'm going to talk now by pressing the space bar rather than just clicking over here all the time. There are various options over here in terms of what your audio is, so you can play around with some of those. They're not particularly important. Again, video. If you want people to, currently you can see me on the video. If I click on video, it has now blanked my screen and just my name comes up. So if you don't want people to actually be on the video conference, what you can do is you can set it up to mute their video immediately, so they come in and what you'll see is this, their name or whatever handle they've got, and they would need to come down here and get the video back up again. So that's quite simple. And then this function over here is quite fun. I've got choose virtual background. This is one of my favorites. So you can choose to have no background. There's my office, which is basically the dining room. But you've got various options. This is a nice one. Let's have a look at this. Don't we all wish we were here right now? Isn't that lovely? Or for my purposes, when I'm doing a course or I'm recording a video, I will use my logo in the background here. Now, what you will find is if you're going to use a logo with text on it, when you load it up, it will be the wrong way round. So you might want to give it a click. So if it is looking like this, all you need to do is to click the mirror my video and it'll turn it round. I must say I have a green screen and I've played with the green screen, and actually my experience is that it is, although you can see this is a little bit blurry, actually the green screen doesn't improve matters. It makes them slightly worse. So I don't think Zoom is particularly optimized for green screen yet, but you know, other than me looking a little bit fuzzy while we're doing this, it's a great way of just, if you do have a really, really messy lounge or you're trying to have a meeting that looks a little bit more professional, you might not want what's going on behind you. Let's just shove one that's a little bit more fun up. Let's do that. Let's have the Aurora Borealis for a little while. So those are the kind of video and the text functions. So to unmute, you go over here and there's some further functions. Invite, we've got manage participants. Now, obviously there's only one participant at the moment. Let's just move this out of the way. But I can, as the host, mute everyone or unmute people at any point. Now, if you are a participant, one of the things you will see here is a little thing called raise hand. And if you click on that, basically I, as the host, will be notified that you have a question. So if you're all muted and someone wants to ask a question, there is a raise hand option here. So if you come down to the manage participants for yourself, there will be a raise hand, and you can go, hold it a sec, I would like to ask a question, and then I can go, absolutely, Bob, unmute yourself, ask the question. They can ask the question, I can answer it. Again, it saves things getting a little bit too messy. You know, lots of people doing things at exactly the same time. I'll come back to share screen. You do have a chat function. So again, you can add chats in here. I'll just put hello. And you can also attach files, which is really useful. And you can send, so you can send a chat to everyone, or obviously there's only me in the meeting at the moment, but you could select an individual to send a personalized private message to. And the file will allow you to go from Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, Google, Dropbox, your computer. So if there's a file you want to share with people, very simple to do. So chat function. The record function is really useful. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll show you how the files work out. But you can record on the computer, so that just puts a file onto your laptop or onto your mobile, and say I'll show you how that works in a second. Or there is some cloud storage as well. Personally, for editing purposes, if that's what you're going to do with it, recording on the computer is probably more efficient and easier for you. And you do have reactions as well. You can do applause and thumbs up, all those kinds of things. So we go, look, I've got a thumbs up over here now, which is really nice. But for me, as a trainer, one of the most powerful functions is the share screen option. So if I come over here and I will share just the PowerPoint at the moment, although I'll do a whiteboard. So I can do a whiteboard. And this whiteboard has me up in the corner here. I can drag myself around, but I can be drawing stuff. I can rub stuff out. I can put stamps down. I can do all sorts of things, you know, put text boxes in to draw. So it's select into text. So here I can do hello in there. So if you're wanting to communicate with people, that is absolutely brilliant, because you can talk to them, you can brainstorm ideas, and if you have more people on it, you can actually have everyone sharing the same screen and everyone could be inputting at the same time, which is, you know, again, quite powerful. The share screen option is also very good. Come up here to stop sharing for demonstrations. So for instance, if I go to, what's this? That's Zoom. So I'm going to go over here. This is my PowerPoint presentation that I am just recording this on. So I could share a PowerPoint presentation, which I have done on some of my courses already. Similarly, if I stop sharing up here, I can share a, so what I can do now is select a Google page or an internet page, whatever service you're using, and now I can operate this. So if I was, again, I do social media courses, so if I was wanting to do a course on Facebook, I could just highlight Facebook or LinkedIn, you know, how to put together a good LinkedIn profile. Well, we can explore it. And I have actually used this. I was doing a search engine optimization course yesterday, and I screen shared the candidates, because only 2 of us, it was a one-to-one. I shared their website, and I was able to go through their website and make suggestions about how they might be able to improve the structure, might be able to improve the searchability of the pages, and they could see what I was suggesting. And again, through annotations, I could even, if I wanted to, go, right, you want to do this, and that bit is a problem, and what do you think of this? So you are actually allowed, able to interact directly, and then just clear all of those drawings off. So the screen share function is really powerful. And again, all of this is recording as we go along. So that is, again, it's great for meetings. If someone couldn't make the meeting, you can share the video file with them, which is brilliant. Or if you upload it to, you know, cloud, sorry, over here with the cloud bit, again, you can send a link that they can watch. So it's a fantastic way of doing meetings, particularly now we're all working from home. And if someone can't make it for any reason, they can catch up very simply. I'm not going to do anything more around Zoom at the moment, other than showing you the way the files are done. So I'm going to end this meeting. And what will happen is, when you end the meeting, if you're recording it, it will put the meeting, it will start uploading the meeting for you. So you have to wait a little while. Let's end meeting for all. You have to wait a little while whilst the the file load. So you can't close down Zoom straight away, but once it is all loaded up, what happens is if I go to Documents, I've got Zoom here. These are all the recordings I've done so far. And if you're using a scheduled meeting, it actually saves it under the name of the meeting that you've done, which is fantastic. So getting started with search engine optimization. I've got audio only and I've got Zoom 0. Ignore this one, that's just a file to make things work. The audio and the Zoom though is brilliant because that's a YouTube video. If you're doing a seminar or anything like that, that's a podcast. Zoom is really flexible. I have used it, I say, quite a lot for meetings. The quality, the audio quality is very good. The video quality generally is very good. The screen sharing comes across very clearly. The one thing I would suggest is I did one yesterday on a wireless connection and there was a tiny bit of lag. Just a little bit of lag, about a second. I was about a second ahead or a second behind the people I was talking to. The second meeting I had, I just connected with an Ethernet cable directly to my my laptop, and that eliminated lag entirely. We were there together, no problem at all. So that's just a quick one through how Zoom works. I am absolutely all over Zoom at the moment. It is what's driving my business in these difficult times because I can continue delivering courses whilst sitting in my dining room. But thank you for watching. I hope that was useful for you. If you have found it useful, share it with people, and you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel or by all means connect with me on LinkedIn, depending on where you're seeing this video. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye for now.